night of arguing.
Amen.
And don't believe the hype and the lie when it says it takes two to fuss. Some people have learned how to fuss at you without you saying anything back. Because they practice it as a kid when they didn't have nobody to play with them. So they got put in a corner or put in a closet or put in some dark room, and they made imaginary friends, and they spoke and they went on the other side and answered. So they have bad reasoning. They don't have real good understanding skill. You're trying to tell them the reason why this happened is because you put your hand on a hot flame and got burnt. No, so you kept the oven on. I don't keep the oven. I don't keep the, okay, you win. I kept it on. But your dumb tail put your hand on a hot flame. It ain't my fault. See, if you would have turned the oven off, I wouldn't have did that. See, you can't fight with a person like that.
That's right. Amen.
Because even if you admit that you kept the oven on,
if you don't see that red,
gas and flames are flying. How is that your fault? That he put his hand on top of a hot flame. But now he want to beat the hell out of you for having the oven on. Well, what you in the kitchen and you ain't cooking? Let's start back there. Why you even up in here? You don't even live here. Why you up in the kitchen? You ain't never cooked ever. But you got nosy. Came in and try to invade my space. I ain't never put my hand, y'all quiet, on no flame. Have you ever seen me do that, honey? No, baby. So what make your big dumb self come up in here and try to do something you don't see me doing? And I live here. I'm good here. So if you're going to come in my environment, you need to follow my pace. Amen. You need to do as I do to get in and to get out safely. But when you think you're the man and everything, and can't nobody tell you because you're a smart woman. When you get burnt by the fire that flames, don't look to who to point the finger at because your hand, your flame.
beautiful.
That's right.
All right? But if a person has a bad reasoning, there's nothing in the world that you can maybe tell that person because that person was wrong about what he or she did.
Right.
It's not your fault that when they drove your car that they ran out of gas and they didn't pay attention that it was on E when they took off in it.
Right.
And they come back, why you didn't tell me you didn't have no gas? Why you didn't look before you drove?
How come you didn't put $5 in?
Because I knew it didn't have no gas when I parked it.
Right.
But I ain't the one, y'all quiet.
I ain't the one trying to drive it.
Stuff that you fuss over and fight over when you have bad reasoning.
Amen.
Why you keep the lights on all night long? Well, did you pass the switch also?
Exactly.
Y'all quiet. We got this whole high light bill because you didn't turn off the light that you see on. I ain't the one that turned it on, but we both live in the same house.
Right.
Ain't no two electric bills that come here, honey. One come, y'all quiet with passing out.
Right.
And you're trying to reason with this hard-headed person who has a bad reasoning because they have the bad mind. And then now you're ready to leave them because you can't communicate. Well, before you leave them, let's figure out what's going on with their mind. Now, we can go ahead and put on bipolarism and schizophrenia. We can put on ADHD. We can put on all that stuff. And that stuff does exist. Those are physical and chemical imbalances that are in the generation, I don't know why more now than what it was back in the day. I don't know what they gave us in the flu shot that made us this crazy, but whatever it is. But I come to find out that God is the type of God that loves to deal with the most complex parts of our life. If we learn how to trust in the Lord, Proverbs, somebody go there and get it. I'm trying to quote it, y'all not reading it. The 3rd chapter and verse number around 5. If it ain't on Martin Luther King, then check over there on Malcolm X Street. Right there, check that, go down Lincoln. Make it right on Jefferson. It's going to be somewhere around. Proverbs 3 and 5. Who got that?
Trust in the Lord.
See, now, when we learn how to give God what he asks for, which is trust. Trust is an option. You're not forced to do it. He's saying if you willfully do it, trust in the Lord with all thine heart. Heart is an emotional thing, not the muscle, but the emotion. With all that heart and
lean not to your own
lean not to your own understanding. In other words, You got a bad mind. You just got to admit that. You just got to admit that in this place, what I'm talking about, if you're struggling, your mind is bad. They say you're a bad person, you just don't do good with money. They say you was a bad person, you just don't know how to argue. They say you was a bad person, you just don't know how to love unconditionally.
Yeah, amen.
They say you was a bad person, you just don't know how to figure out problems.
Amen.
You can't read, you can't write, you can't do math, you can't reason, you can't shut up, you can't listen.
Come on now, that's right. Amen.
Still a great person, but in this place in your mind, there's a malfunction. So I need you to trust in the Lord with your emotion. And lean not to your own way of thinking. But in all of your ways, acknowledge. Ask of his help. Inquire of him to help you out in this area. Because psychologically, you're jacked up. Your chemical is imbalanced. The pills ain't kicking in. The shot ain't working. The jacket ain't tight enough. The screw is loose. Ain't no screw at all. I don't like to talk like this. This is real talk right here. So then when you come into one situation and go into another situation with missing parts of your mind, I don't care how much you speak in tongues. Tongues ain't going to solve that. Don't believe me, speak in tongues next time that happens. See what happens. Come on, see what happens. How many of y'all have tried that? I promise somebody.